Ann Coulter, of course, you know, great columnist and best-selling author. Her book, In Trump We Trust, you should have that book. And go back and get the book, Adios America, if you're concerned about the border. And go to AnnCoulter.com. And, of course, follow her on Twitter and Facebook. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. Now, you should be happy now. The president yesterday went to California, looked at the wall samples, and he likes a couple of them. It looks like we're almost ready to go.
Yes, I can remember well the chants at his rally every single day. Inspect wall prototypes. Inspect wall prototypes.
Well, this is how you do it. You got to have samples, and you got to pick the right wall. And there were some that looked good, but he had people test them and climb them, and they were able to climb them. So you can't just build it. You got to have the right wall first.
Okay, I'm hoping the wall will get built, but Coulter is not giving up on the pressure. He could have been inspecting the wall prototypes on November 9th. On November 10th, 2016. This was the central promise without which he would not have been elected. And he knew the night of November 8th he was going to have to build a wall. People are saying, it's 420 days he's been in office. No, I'm adding the time from November 9th. He should have gotten started right away.
Okay, but he did. I know he did.
We'll see.
Well, no, wait. I know he called a lot of people, top builders, to build that wall on November 10th and 11th and 12th. But a lot of them eventually turned it down. They were worried that their companies would come under attack if they built that wall. That was part of the problem.
I'm out in California. I have 2 points for you. I'm out in California. This idiotic bullet train that goes like 200 miles has cost $77 billion.
Yeah.
$77 billion. We could have 3 walls by then. But as long as I'm here, I think I'm gonna try to gin up the natives into warning them and telling them they need to build a wall around themselves to keep all the Trump voters out.
Yeah. Well, he actually had a big fundraiser last night in Beverly Hills. They kept the location very secret because they were worried about the crazy California protesters and what they might do.
Yeah, no, okay. Welcome to my life. But my second point on this wall business, and you'll like this. I think you and I need to just openly be good cop, bad cop on this. As long as you are going to endlessly defend this lunkhead and how long it's taking him to get around to again. The central promise of his campaign. At some point you got to tell him, Mark, he has to build the wall. If even you would tell him that, he may figure out he needs to build the wall. He's
building the wall. Listen, once the construction starts, unlike other government construction, this guy knows how to build fast. It'll get done. But I'm telling you, he went to some of the top builders, a lot of them in New York, but they own office buildings and shopping centers and all that stuff. And they said, we can't do it. We'll get picketed forever. They didn't. So it was tough to find anybody willing to build anything here.
I get suspicious of that, unless what you're trying to do is be a college professor. I mean, even entertainers end up hurting themselves by ticking off half the country. I find this very, very strange. I mean, I'm in politics. This is what I do for a living. So I don't really have a choice. Half the country's going to hate me. Oh well. This is what I do for a living. If you're an actor or a builder or something, you really don't have to have half the country hate you.
Well, but you're a public.
Don't take a political position. Often they're gratuitously taking public positions. If you're just doing your job, the number of people who are going to hate a wall builder, you won't be able to build the wall around Leo DiCaprio's house? No, your business is
no, many of these guys own lots of big office buildings in the middle of New York City, and they don't want pickets around their buildings all day. That was part of the problem. I mean, they said they just can't risk it.
I see a lot more walls out in America. This is such a BS excuse. There are a lot of people who would be dying for that job. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of jobs. You will have so many people so happy with that. And wow, talk about infrastructure spending. It's going to take a long time to build the wall. And those are a lot of really good paying jobs.
All right, Ann Coulter, explain this. The liberal will regulate everything. They want to regulate everything. They'll tell you what light bulb you're allowed to use. They regulate everything. Why don't they want to regulate the border?
Well, because Juanita the maid gets that toilet so clean you could eat off it, and it's $7 an hour.
Oh, that's true. But, you know, it's the same thing like a liberal. They'll put a toll on every inch of the highway. There's a toll on every bridge, every road coming into New York. They're talking about congestion pricing. They'll tax you to drive down any street. But if you put a little tariff on a Chinese steel company, they have a heart attack.
Oh, I do love these tariffs. I am hoping we're entering the phase of the Trump presidency known as the finally keeping my promises phase, because I like these tariffs, and mostly from, well, look, Trump is right. He has been right forever on this. Peter Navarro was right. Other countries are eating our lunch. They put enormous tariffs on our goods, and we don't put tariffs on their goods. So in the end, a lot of this is just going to be able to open up markets to a lot of American products, creating all kinds of jobs that have been destroyed. I mean, as I described or mentioned in Trump We Trust, back in the 80s, there were 20 million manufacturing jobs. We've halved that. We're down to about 10 million now. It's crazy. We used to be a manufacturing giant, and I do think there is something to be said. I mean, apart from the point that this is a way to get other countries to stop putting tariffs and stop blocking our goods by saying, fine, you're going to put tariffs on our goods. You know, the EU already has tariffs on steel, much higher than I think even Trump is proposing. But to get them to say, okay, we'll drop the tariffs on your goods. But also, how about, I mean, what if we go to war with China? Okay, we're not planning on it, but I hope we don't. I'm against military adventurism. But we are a country, and we have to think about possibly having to go to war. I mean, as I understand it, the Defense Department has gamed out war with every other country on Earth, including Canada, just in case, never know. What if the country we're going to war with is the one that provides us with all of our steel, all of our aluminum, No, a deal's a deal. We're still going to sell to you. Don't worry, that contract is still good. I don't think so. Well,
it's definitely a security issue. We have to have a steel manufacturing capability. Hey, before we run out,
I want it for the jobs.
Yeah. Before we run out of time, the school walkout today, liberals are saying the fight for, gun control. Look how many students were willing to participate in the walkout. What student is not going to be willing to walk out of school?
Actually, I talked to the family of a young Puerto Rican boy in Queens, and he and his classmates are ticked off at this whole thing and say all the kids are in class are ticked off at it, and he is absolutely refusing to leave.
Hey, when I was in school, if they said you have to walk, I don't know any kid would have said, well, please, I won't miss a minute of school. I would have been happy to walk out every day in protest.
Yes, but I would like to get the names of all of the kids who are refusing to walk out so we can get them to run for president someday.
Well, Ann Coulter, always great talking to you. Everybody get her book, In Trump We Trust. And then Adios America, when did that come out? 2 years ago?
Right before Trump announced.
And that was one of the books.
Before, I think it was. And he asked for a copy of it. Bless his soul. Boy, the good Trump, the campaign Trump, there was nothing like it. I have sent copies of Adios America with carefully post-it noted to various Republican presidential candidates, begging them to read it. Nothing. Well, I mean, they may have read it. They didn't change their mind. Not Trump. He saw me talking to Jorge Ramos, the video linked on my webpage, emailed and said, I'd like an advanced copy of your book. And 2 weeks later, we get the Mexican rapist speech. And
he was holding the book up on the campaign trail. So if you missed that book, go back and get it, Adios America, and get In Trump We Trust. And go to AnnCoulter.com. New column comes out tonight, right?
Yes, it's a good one.
All right. And make sure you follow her on Twitter, one of the best tweeters on Twitter, Ann Coulter on Twitter. And Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Talk to you next week, Mark. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.